Welcome to another episode of Realities May Vary, the podcast that talks about whatever we want from whatever perspective we have, because that's what we do. He's Cody Gough. I'm Brian Noonan. There you go. I'm done. How are you?
I'm ready for a gold medal show, Brian.
Really?
And wow, your haircut. Look at that.
No, I didn't get a haircut. All I did was slick it back for the show because yesterday I did not, after I took a shower, I didn't put anything in it. And today I looked like some sort of circus clown with my hair just going everywhere. So I decided I would wet it down and throw something in it for the broadcast.
Sure, I got to wet it down always.
Well, sure, you got to put the stuff in there, get it all slicked back. I'm very excited because you said that you had a lot to talk about today. Yeah, so I'm going to let you start because I got to be honest, I'm a little worried that I might have the COVID. I'm feeling a little off. I got a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of a runny nose, and it was, I'm probably being, I know that I'm being, what do you call it, a hypochondriac, because I went out Friday night to a live music show. I went to the brand new Hard Rock Cafe of Northern Indiana, which is, it was very nice. There was a
t-shirt.
I did no. And to be quite honest, I think this may be only the second or third time in my life I've been into a Hard Rock Cafe. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just one of those chain places that I don't normally go. I think, I went to the one here when it opened, I think, once. Maybe I was there for an event. I don't know. I went to this one because there was a blues guy playing that my buddy was like, you got to see this blues guy. He's only 22 years old. He's like the future of the blues. All the blues guys love him. And here's the best part. The show is free. I'm like, oh, well, free. That's right up my alley. But, now I'm watching too much news. I'm worried about this. And so I may have a breakthrough case. I don't know. I may actually go get tested.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
I'm not going to tell you not to. I mean, the vaccine, as we know, doesn't stop you from getting COVID.
No, that's what we're.
But what the heck? You got it. You got it. You're not going to die from it.
Let's hope.
No one who has gotten the vaccine and gotten COVID has died from COVID.
That's true. None of the breakthrough cases have died. So I got that going for me, which is nice. If I may quote Bill Murray. Hello to everybody joining us on the chat. We are happy you are here as always. Is there a certain place you want to start, Cody?
Yeah.
With all your hot topics?
Well, you've always got stuff. I didn't know if you usually start.
No, I know, but I was excited. Well, I can start. I mean, it's been this has not been a good day for America. It's been a horrible day for America, and I don't know. As I'm watching the Capitol Police officers testify in front of Congress this morning, I thought, oh boy, here we go. And then so I'm watching that, and I'm watching these guys break down as they're recounting their experiences those days. I found myself choking up a couple times watching the videos that I don't think I had seen. Some of these before. It was horrifying. There was body cam footage from one of the officers. And I'm watching all this and I'm listening to it. And then I made the mistake of going on Twitter and I saw, some people from from a different galaxy, I guess, saying that these cops were crisis actors and that this whole thing was never really happened. And then I hear, other people I see Congress people protesting this hearing outside of the Department of Justice, and the minority leader and the president of the Senate or the majority leader, or no, whatever McConnell is, I forget now. I'm all worked up. But him and Mike McCarthy are like, oh, we didn't even watch it. So I'm upset about that. And then COVID is on the run, buddy. And the CDC changes up the science today, which that's what science does. It evolves and things change. And so now it looks like they're saying, hey, if you're going in anywhere, even if you're vaccinated, you should wear a mask. And when you go back to school in the fall, everybody doesn't matter what your vaccination status is, you should all wear a mask and blah, blah. And I'm like, and then I got mad, not at them, not at the CDC for telling me to wear a mask, but at all the, how can I put it politely, asshats who won't get vaccinated, who are causing, as what everyone is calling, the pandemic of the unvaccinated. And we yelled about this last week, or I did, and I can't yell about it anymore. And as I'm watching the videos today of the insurrection, the riot, the attempted coup against our government, I'm watching it with my own eyes. Now, I've often said I'm not the smartest guy in the room, which I am not by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm in the top 25%, probably. I'm way past the bottom half, so I'm at least in the top half of the smartest guys in the room. If you can watch these videos and still say that didn't happen and it was just people coming in with lots of love in their heart to visit the Capitol, if you could say that and you're an elected official, you're a traitor because you have gone against your oath to protect the Constitution of America. Then you're a science guy, Cody, so I want to get your take on this, and we won't spend long on it, probably. I read the numbers, I follow the science, I see cases going up. I understand that 96% of the cases are because people are not vaccinated. I see the sad stories of people who are now going on ventilators and stuff, going, man, I probably should have got that vaccine, huh? And the doctor's saying, yeah, they're asking for it, but it's too late. And so I'm upset about that because I'm like, listen, you're being petulant, and I don't want to hear your fake science takes for, not you, Cody, but the fake science takes that you picked up from wherever you picked them up. And I'm tired of having to kowtow to the, hey, everybody's got rights kind of thing. No, you have rights till it starts really affecting everybody else. Then the bigger responsibility is to the community. And if you've decided to go against the community for whatever reason, whether it's political or some half-cocked crazy thing that you read on the internet, I'm done with you. I can't anymore. I don't want to be open-minded anymore. I tried to see both sides of the argument. You know what? And there are not two sides to the argument. And I don't care anymore because you're hurting everybody. And now the people who did what they were supposed to do, as the governor of Alabama said, it's time to start blaming the unvaccinated people and not the regular folks who did what they were supposed to do. There, I'm off the soapbox.
Wow.
Coming in hot tonight, Cody. It was a rough day as I was monitoring the news.
Yeah. In case anybody's wondering, I'm not wearing my wedding ring, not because I don't love to wear it, but because the summer, my finger is expanded and it barely fits. It's very uncomfortable. I used to wear it all the time. Sitting around at home, I'd wear it. It's not like I just wear it to go out. But no, the last couple of weeks, I've just people's bodies change, winter, summer. I might get, if it's still snug in the winter, I'll get it resized. I was warned about this by the ring people, but anyway, I'm self-conscious about when I put my left hand up because I don't want people to think there's any reason. No, I should be reading into it. I love wearing my ring. I love being married.
I rarely wear mine just to set your mind at ease.
Yeah, sure. No, and I other people do different things, but I
wear it when we go out. I wear, that kind of stuff. But around, and plus I wear the ring that we got married in, which was not our actual wedding ring, because when I lost all the weight, my fingers got really skinny and my ring got too big. So I had to go back to the original ring. And that's we could do the ring story later, but I want you to, I thought you were blowing off all my first tirade. I thought you were just moving on to it.
No, I just had to get that. I just had to get that aside out there.
No, I got you. I understand.
No, I didn't watch any of those videos. I heard
you didn't watch any of the hearing, did you?
No, I saw one tweet that even said there was a hearing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known about it. Reality is
I'm not.
vary.
I didn't expect that you watched any of it. To be honest,
I was barely aware. No, I thought when you said bad day for America. Well, I mean, I know the COVID stuff is the masks, all that stuff. I knew about that, but I thought when you were talking about a bad day for America, I thought you were talking about Simone Biles.
Oh, we could get into that. Yeah.
Well, that's what that was.
Reaction.
My whole thing. I mean, yeah, I should do some kind of react. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
You don't have to react if you don't want to.
Last year, I went into the rabbit hole of Twitter videos and watching the horrible injustices happening across the country between police and protesters. That was disgusting. I felt more informed from that because it was like law enforcement are people that we give power to, and seeing what they're doing matters. For me, like there's no gain, like there's no benefit to knowing, like, some crazy people storm the Capitol and like they suck. I'm not like learning a lot by watching the videos of the riots. I don't think so. I guess I'm just I'm not curious even remotely about it. So bad people did bad stuff, but like, what's my takeaways? Like, what am I going to change about my life or my ideology by like watching, and then like I'm going to walk away and be like, boy, they really were bad. Like, I don't know. I kind of know that. And I'm not going to be like,
you do, because you're a rational human being.
Yeah. And I'm not going to be like, well, I'm more like anti-Republican or whatever. Cause like, it's not really a party line thing. It's like the society we built has some glaring flaws, as we are seeing by every look around.
I got to call you out. This one is this is a completely Republican thing. Everybody, there's not Democrats didn't storm the Capitol. Democrats didn't build gallows out on the lawn to hang people. Democrats weren't in the rotunda screaming, "Hang Pence, hang Pence." The Democrats didn't drag cops into the crowd and try to beat them to death with thin blue line flagpoles and spray them with.
But also 99.9% of American human beings that are Republican didn't do that also. So
that's correct. But all the Republicans except for 2 in Congress don't want this investigated to find out how high up it went.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So yeah, there's that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Anything that like,
we don't have to stay political. We don't have to.
Anything that continues to emphasize like, oh well, the left does this or the right does this. Like it's like, no, some very loud, outspoken subset did it, and it's like, all right, they'll get their day in court, which they're doing. I don't know, the COVID stuff. Oh man, I don't spend a lot of time trying to get people to get the vaccine if they're just not going to do it. But I do still think that there's a lack of education. I'm still having conversations with people that don't understand like exactly like that it's contagious still, even if you get vaccinated. Like I was in a computer store, or I guess it was more like it
was a computer store. It was more like a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, well, it was a Micro Center, but they sell a lot of stuff. But I love Micro Center, you know this.
Oh, I like Micro Center. Yeah, they have it's a technology store, I guess. Computer and other computer related technologies.
It is mostly computers, but it feels more like, to me, it feels more like it has that interior feel of like an Office Depot or an Office Max, which is like a variety, but it is pretty much.
But it's all related to computers.
Yeah, but anyway,
and the great prices.
Oh my God!
And we're not getting paid by Micro Center.
We should love Micro Center. So anyway, I was in there, and this guy comes in, and he had a really thick accent. I don't remember if he said he was from Sweden or Poland or somewhere, and he was like, there was a sign in the door that was like, you should still wear a mask. This was like back before all that mask stuff was gone and whatever. He's like, I don't need a mask. I'm vaccinated. I can't give it a vaccine or whatever. And that the person very calmly, and I thought very rationally, explained, well, there's this Delta variant out right now. And just because you got the vaccine doesn't mean you're not contagious. You can still get it. You can, whatever. And the Delta variant's really bad. And, anyway, he explained all this stuff, but the guy just had no idea, and he blew it off. Like he just was straight, like, okay, that's fine. Okay, well, I need a computer, and he just like kind of like steamrolled, and it was very disappointing and upsetting. But I don't think the guy even knew about this Delta. Like his eyes did kind of come out. He's like, what are you talking about? So some people just don't. Some people are like me in the Capitol riot trials. Like they just don't just don't really pay attention. And that sucks. But I think the point of what I'm saying is that when given the opportunity, I guess we can continue to explain things to people. So let's do our public service. No, let's do our public service announcement. All right. If you don't get the vaccine and you do get COVID, you might die. And you may literally die and be dead. And everyone in your family will have to mourn your dead body because you'll be dead. And that's very upsetting. And there is a vaccine that exists that is actually free. It's completely free of charge. You can walk into anywhere and get this vaccine. CVS, Walgreens, lots of other places.
I got a couple in the car.
Sure. The vaccine is freely available. You don't even need health insurance. You don't need any of that stuff, I don't think. You just walk in, you sign a couple forms, and they will give you this free vaccine that will, if you get COVID, prevent you from dying of COVID. So you will not die. You will not be a dead person with a family and friends that are mourning your dead body because you're no longer alive. All right. I don't think I can be much more clear about that. And as a side twist, there is now a variant of the coronavirus, because viruses mutate and they evolve and change, that, as far as we know, is more deadly and more dangerous than the original coronavirus. So if you didn't think that, if you thought that it wasn't that dangerous before, which is a little silly considering every government in the entire planet shut down the whole earth to try and prevent the spread. So one would think that indicates that maybe it's kind of a bad disease to have. But let's say you don't trust anyone on the earth. First of all, you've got a lot of problems. But second of all, this one is worse than that one, as far as we know. So probably go get the vaccine, which also will help you. It will, exact numbers are really hard to peg down, but theoretically you will be less likely to transmit it to other people, less likely if you're vaccinated. So there's my public service announcement. It's glaringly obvious that I don't understand anyone that wouldn't get it. I understand oh, you might get sick for 1 day. Okay, you might poop, you might have diarrhea. What's worse, diarrhea or death? It's just death is the worst one. So
death by diarrhea.
I'm not trying to be glib about this, but let's just lay down.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Science?
No,
about your PSA. Can I ask a couple questions?
All right.
Because you had really good information.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, Mr. Science, if I don't get the vaccine and I get sick, I'm the only one who can get sick, right? I can't pass that on to somebody else, can I?
No, especially if you have any symptoms whatsoever, you will very likely be contagious to everyone around you, and you may have been contagious before you even showed symptoms.
What?
Because that's called asymptomatic transmission. It's when you don't have symptoms, but you still transmit it to other people. So you're putting yourself and everyone around you in danger, especially friends and family, and anyone under the age of 12, what is
12.
it? 12. Anyone under the age of 12. So that includes babies that you're around. You are literally putting their lives in danger if you don't get the vaccine, and that sucks. You kind of suck if you do that. So please get the vaccine that is free, that will save your life and other people's lives, which every senator, congressman has gotten, Republican and Democrat, every single politician, every single person on the news, everyone under military.
Tucker Carlson?
What about
all these people who are telling me not to get it? They absolutely did not get vaccinated.
They're really bad people. They're really bad people, and I don't know why they're doing this. I really don't.
But I heard there'll be a microchip in me.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I read.
There's no evidence of that happening. Also, there's already a microchip in your phone. If you have a cell phone, the government can already track you. I'm guessing you have a cell phone, so why would they put a microchip in a vaccine anyway? If that doesn't make sense. Nothing about it how would it power? How would it there's that's actually insane. There's no there's something very wrong with you if you you need to be much better educated if you legitimately think that a microchip is in a vaccine like that.
I also read that there was cow poop in it, that they made it with cow poop.
That's fine. What's wrong with cow poop?
Well, I don't want methane all bubbling up in me.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't heard that particular one, but I mean, if someone gave me cow poop and said this will prevent you from dying and being dead of COVID, and making your wife raise your son as a single mother for the rest of his life, I would probably take the cow poop. But as an added bonus, there's not that. So just get the vaccine for the love of God, actual God, the God that I pray to in church. That God, please, for the love of the God above us in heaven above, Get the
I'm
vaccine.
an atheist. Should I still get the vaccine?
Yeah, you should probably still get the vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You have a lot of great answers.
It's not that hard. I'm not.
No,
that
it's
smart.
not.
I don't need to be. Look, I'm skeptical of the government, right? Like I unironically think Bush knew about 9/11, right? So I'm not joking. That's not a joke. Like I really think that. I really don't trust the government. I really think they're very crazy and do horrible things and lie all the time. And I don't like where our tax money goes. And I think it's a whole racket. But the vaccines are saving people. And that's because 130 governments in the world, like everyone, is literally agreeing on this. You'd think one scientist, right? Like one scientist would have come up with some issue with it, right? If there was actually a legitimate problem with it by now. Anyway.
The My Pillow guy doesn't like it.
Yeah, he likes pillows. He is also dumb. Okay. Very dumb person.
Fair enough.
Very weird. So
I don't know. I think, you know what? I have an 8th grade education. And I think I'm just going to wait and see how this plays out because I don't know. I'm not confident in all the chemistry. I don't understand everything about it. I heard there might be some stem cells in there somewhere, and it's RD dubstep M. I don't know. I'm going to wait.
All right. So Sally in the chat said they just invented the vaccine this year. Right. So, okay. So I do want to address that. I don't know if that was ironic or sarcastic or serious. Okay. So it is an mRNA vaccine, which is a newer type of vaccine, not deployed yet at this scale. However, mRNA vaccines do exist and have existed and have been being tested and developed for decades. It's not like scientists are like, oh, we have this brand new experimental thing no one knows anything about. Like we've been using mRNA vaccines. We understand the science behind it, right? The other thing is, some people some people don't understand is the vaccine leaves your body almost instantaneously. It is actually like, in terms of vaccines go, I describe it as this is a very simplified analogy, but a very weak vaccine, right? So like, these mRNA vaccines need to be stored at ridiculously cold temperatures, right? Like let's say like 20 degrees below Celsius or something, right? Insanely cold to where they need to like build new refrigeration units and like transporting them to certain countries is difficult just logistically because it's hard to keep them that cold, right? The reason that they're that cold is because they're highly, highly unstable. So as soon as it gets in your body, it basically breaks apart and disappears. And your body's going to flush it out like within a day, which is why some people get sick because your body is like, wait, I'm flushing something out. What is going on here? So you poop or maybe you get a little cold or something, right? So It's just your body being kind of normal and being like, oh, that was weird. But it's gone. It's gone after a day. All that happens is that there's a little blueprint that your DNA can take and be like, oh, I know how to make this protein now. And then it makes that protein if and when you get coronavirus, and then it protects you from it. So that's the science of it. It's actually comparatively, I don't know if like the scientific community would agree with this, but the analogy that I make in the description is I would say like it's a relatively weak vaccine. It's not like they're injecting you with a bunch of fluids for the flu vaccine or something, and maybe that stays longer or something like that. Like this is really a very tiny unstable thing that goes in. It's like zip, bloop, it pops, and then it's gone, and then it's in and out of your body. So the other thing is, by the way, 95% of doctors who have had the option, not mandatory, but the option to get the COVID-19 vaccine have gotten it, right? So 95% of doctors in the US, we think the US has good doctors. Great. If you don't, then something's wrong with you. Again, every politician's gotten it on both sides. So like, so I get that I don't want to be like a lab rat for science, but like you're not. That's the problem is that this is, even though it is a newer vaccine, the science behind it and the way that it works, I mean, and the fact that it's being deployed so widespread means that people are very, very reasonably confident that it is significantly safer than, I don't know, getting COVID. So it is, if you want to disagree with the idea of mandating getting vaccinated and the idea of like, oh, you have to get this, like, okay, fight the government. I don't care. Like, you've heard me on this show.
I know you do not. You are not a fan.
I'm about as anti everybody in the government as a person could be, but this isn't the government. This is like doctors and science and technology. And if we didn't have science and technology, we wouldn't have cell phones. We wouldn't be watching this podcast. Like Brian and I couldn't broadcast from our homes before,
Exactly.
So like technology is good, right? I think we can all generally agree that there's
technology is good. Medicine is good. Science is good.
Things. Yeah. So these are all really good advances. And there really is no there really is no valid reason to not get it. Like, if you're worried, you need to not be.
Right. If you're worried, suck it up. At some point, I don't know. I know. Where was it in one of the states? They said that we're gonna stop letting people do things. Maybe it was France. We're gonna stop letting people do all this stuff if they're not vaccinated. Well, all of a sudden, man, people were running out. There were a lot of vaccinations in the last couple of weeks because people were like, what? We're not going to. Yes. See, and I have no problem with telling people, sorry, man, you're not vaccinated. You can't come in. We don't let kids go to school if they're not vaccinated. We don't let kids go to college if they're not vaccinated. If you want to travel the world, you get vaccinated. If you're traveling to some countries, the list of vaccines you have to get is unbelievable. And people are like, yeah, but I want to go on a safari. So shoot me up. Let's go. I want to see a tiger.
I want to just quickly say, Sally said in the chat that she was being sarcastic, but still thank you for actually raising that. Cause that is I won't say a valid concern, but it is a concern that a lot of people don't understand is the history of the mRNA. Right. She said her understanding is it's been around for about 15 years and it started at Ohio State. I can't verify that personally off the top of my head right now, but that sounds about right. But yeah, no, thank you for, even bringing it up sarcastically, because it is, I think it is the strongest.
Well, because I was being sarcastic with all my questions because I knew you would have the right answers. So I think, and it's hard, if Sally had called, like if we did college, we'd be able to tell by her voice. But when you're just reading the words, like, is that person being serious or no?
Not necessarily. Sometimes I got phone calls to the station and the guy would say, like, I'm like, what do you want to talk to Brian about? And he'd say a joke and I would just be silent and he'd just pause for a second and say that was a joke. And I would be so embarrassed every time. Like really embarrassed. But anyway, yeah. So, that's enough of that.
Enough of that. Yeah. Listen, if you're not vaccinated, sorry. Listen, I don't wish anybody to get sick. I'll just say that. But I also don't want to get sick. And I want to be able to keep going out. Today, I had to wear a mask into a place because there was a sign on the door. Thankfully, I still had a couple in the car because I've been running willy-nilly. This. I'm in this casino, sitting in the Hard Rock Cafe, listening to blues. There's people all around. There's people in the casino smoking. God only knows what was happening. And I liked it. I liked being out. It was here. Listen, if you're a blues fan, check out Kingfish. That's all I'm going to say. He's 22 years old. He's from Clarksdale, Mississippi. His first gig was when he was like 11. He's the house guy at Morgan Freeman's Blues Club in Clarksdale. Buddy guy. Everybody in the blues community is like, this guy's the future. And it was unbelievable. And it was so nice to be out. So I want to keep being out. And if you want to keep being out, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Then we can all be out.
When I was in high school, every other t-shirt I owned was a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt.
Really?
I owned Hard Rock Orlando. I went to Hard Rock in Paris. I went to Hard Rock in London. I never did Chicago. I've been to the one in Chicago, but I never had a shirt from Chicago. New York, Philadelphia. Really? Every city I went to with my parents went to the Hard Rock Cafe. The joke was that I only owned Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts and flannel. And I just wore that every day in high school.
Thought you were Kurt Cobain?
I don't know.
What was the attraction? Because it said this name of the city, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it was the collectible part, and it made me feel like kind of a jet setter. And I don't know. I was told it was cool, so I guess I didn't know any better. I don't know.
But you were actually at those places. You didn't have one from San Juan after that you just ordered online.
No, I had one or two that my dad would bring as a trip. Like I had a Mexico City one from when he went to Mexico City, but yeah, Hard Rock, man. We go way back. And actually in downtown Indianapolis during Gen Con every year, which as you know, normally attracts like 60,000 people downtown. It's like massive.
Right on.
There's only so many places to eat. And Steak and Shake is an hour-and-a-half wait minimum. And everyone has a very, very long line. You go like 2 blocks from the convention center. No line at Hard Rock.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why that is. Is it a casino or just a hotel?
It's I don't even know if it's a hotel. It's very small. It's very small. It's like.
Maybe it's just a cafe, just like the one here in downtown, the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, but this one isn't even that cool. They've only got a few guitars. Like, it's not impressive. It's a very.
That's what I was wondering as I was walking through, because I finished. The show was over, and I was looking at the long drive home, but I wanted to walk through and see. And they had the Jackson 5 costumes from the Jackson 5 because they're from Gary, and they had Joe Jackson. But then I'm walking around and I'm looking. I'm going, how do I know any of this is legit? Because the costumes, the costumes don't really look that legit. And then I was going to the bathroom way down. There was one right near the showroom, but then there was one as I was walking around, and it was way tucked back in a corner. And as I walk back to the corner, I come around, and there's two outfits, Elton John and John Lennon. And I'm like, why? If these were really from Elton John and John Lennon, why would you tuck them all the way back in the corner by the bathroom? Because, I know you're kind of, they had Lance Bass's outfit right in the front at the main entrance. And I'm like, come on, both John Lennon and Elton John are much bigger than Lance Bass.
Well, depends on the demo.
That's, I guess. But as I walked around, the demo was the kind that would be hanging out in front of the bathroom going, hey, look, there's John Lennon's pants. They had a few guitars and stuff. And I was struck by the fact that these all really look like replicas rather than the legit, and I don't even know where the legit stuff would be. I don't know where the original Hard Rock Cafe is.
Cleveland, probably, right?
I don't know. Seems like something that would have come out of New York or LA.
Nah, probably.
Like when Planet Hollywood came bursting on the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Everybody who ate, I didn't eat because I didn't realize we were going to be sitting actually in the restaurant. It's kind of open, but the restaurant. I didn't realize that we were going to be in there, so I had eaten dinner. But everybody who ate said they had a good, the food was good. We did have an issue though.
What happened?
Well, my buddy Chris CB from one of the Insomniacs, he's the music guy. I mean, this guy, he loves going to see live music. So he's the one who told me about it. So I'm going to meet them there, and I'm about 10 minutes away. I get a text. Hey, they said there's the first Hard Rock was in London, according to Rick. Thank you, Rick. Said there's no tables. We got 2 seats at the bar. We'll just rotate. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get there, and they're like, oh, well, we put our name on the list. Anyway, we get a table, and it's kind of outside the main area of the stage. It's like more over in the restaurant part. And that's fine. We can see the stage. We're sitting there. But then 2 tables open up right on the inside. Now, I guess they had been on the list for a table for over an hour. And so Chris walks up to the hostess and says, hey, we haven't ordered anything yet. And can we just move tables? And this woman copped an attitude. It was, no, those tables are for people on the list. And he was like, we were on the list until like 3 minutes ago when you called our name. We've been on the list. Well, no, you just can't do it. And then he asked somebody else and they said no. And so now, people are getting seated up there and they're not there really for the show. They're just there to eat. And we were there for the show. So he was pulling on me. He was fixated on it. He was mad. He was angry. And he was going to talk to everybody. So finally we're sitting there and this woman was having none of it. She was old and angry and she didn't care. Maybe she really had the blues and didn't care that we just wanted to hear the blues. I don't know what was going on. But then I saw a guy with a lanyard and a plastic, a bigger plastic name tag. And I said, that guy looks like a manager, Chris. So Chris goes running over and I see them jawing back and forth in a friendly manner. And then the guy just kind of shrugs and points at the table. So all of a sudden now we're up and I am not exaggerating when I tell you that I was about 4 feet from the keyboard player.
Nice.
It was unbelievable. And then the Kingfish at one point walked all the way through the venue and he was right at the corner of my table. I have a picture of it. Right at the corner of my table, and it was just a 4-top, and he sat down and was playing. Like within
at your
4
table.
feet of me, at my table. He was playing to the crowd, but he was sitting at the corner of our table.
Nice.
It was unbelievable. So That was ad. It was so it was weird, being because seeing people smoke inside was weird.
Oh, gross.
Yes, Indiana, they love the
Disgusting.
smoking.
God.
Indoors.
But yeah,
The
look at
good
their
thing
beach.
was, I haven't been. Debbie asked me the other day, "Would you want to go to the beach for a day?" I'm like, "What?" She said, "Well, Molly wants to go to Indiana Dunes. We thought maybe we'd all go." And I was like,
No. Gross.
Yeah. I haven't been there since Molly was like 1.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Now everybody who all the people in Indiana who go to the dunes are going to be all upset. All the rich Chicagoans with houses in Michigan City. It's beautiful. I don't know. It's nice to look at. I like sitting on the beach and looking at the water. I don't know much about going in it.
I'm not getting that.
You're not going in the lake?
No.
You don't want any lake water on you?
Disgusting.
I don't know, man. What are you afraid of? You're vaccinated. Afraid of some lake water?
Not against whatever's in that.
Getting all up in you?
Yikes. So have you been watching the Olympics?
I have not. I am you when it comes to the Olympics.
Oh my God.
I know some of the teams from the U.S. have lost. I know the U.S. is leading in the medal count, which I always look at. I did read about Simone today, Simone Biles. I know the U.S. women's soccer team lost, and that brought a lot of glee to a certain segment of our society. So, but no, I have not. What are you? Well, do you want to take it away? Talk about what
this is my topic. I know this will shock you, but I don't follow the medal count, and I don't really care when the U.S. is ahead.
See,
because when it comes to
how do you not? That's all the Olympics are about. Our country's better than your country.
No, it's not. But it's about seeing great competitors. It's about seeing underdog victories, and in terms of global
global dominance.
Yeah, no, in global wealth inequality, and how many of those countries are we currently bombing or occupying? Right? Like, no, I don't care. I don't care if the U.S. wins. I like watching good. Like last night, I could not turn off Ukraine and Greece women's tennis singles qualifier. Oh my God. Those two women, it was a war. It was a war. The Greek woman was just on fire. It was nuts. She ended up losing. It was very sad. But no, I was in love with it.
Because she was on fire?
Totally on fire. Yeah, it's great. No, so so first of all, I've been streaming the Olympics on the NBC Sports app because, as you know, I don't have cable, but right. I do have family that does, and they're like, "Well, we're not watching. We're not using our Xfinity login, so sure, log into NBC Sports app." I'm like, "Great, cool." I've been using that. Awful. It's the worst streaming service.
Really?
Very, very probably unprofessional of me to say that, considering that there are other streaming services that I have a vested interest in performing well. But good God, it is terrible. So like. It'll say the thumbnail for a video will be women's round 3.
Okay.
Just women's round 3.
Of what?
Yeah, great question. The
well,
thumbnail.
I like to get to the bottom of those.
The thumbnail is of two dudes bending over doing something on the ground.
Are you sure you're on the NBC Sports app and not something else?
Turns out women's round 3 in this particular instance is women's beach volleyball round 3.
Oh.
But instead of showing women playing volleyball in the thumbnail, they have two of the male helpers cleaning the sand.
That's not going to make me watch a game.
Doesn't really help me navigate the app very well. They'll have other really, really helpful descriptions like CNBC coverage. And then you go in and the video description is like rugby, women's tennis, water polo, 300-meter gymnastics, and one other. Like it lists like 9 things. So you're like, I have no idea when in the lineup these are happening. Where are we? Are we at number 3 or number 5? So I put it in, and it's like playing the roulette, right? It's like, am I going to get? Am I going to get rugby? Nope, not rugby. You lose. So the app is horrifically bad. Also, commercial breaks just happen in the middle of things. So
really, right in the middle of the event?
Oh yeah, we're watching rugby sevens, which I'll get to, and they have 2 halves, 15 minutes each. So the halftime comes in, and without announcing anything, it's just the middle of coverage. Okay, yeah, and for the second half, it looks like boop commercial plays, a couple more commercials play. Next thing you know, they're back, and there's 6 minutes left in the second half.
What?
Yeah, yeah. It's just. shove it in these. Now, behind the scenes point to this, that we dealt with this at WGN Radio. There's a whole legalese thing with digital broadcast and broadcast.
Yes, right.
During baseball games at WGN Radio, on the air, there would be one thing. On the stream, they would be able to, even if they were able to broadcast the game, they would then go to a silence during the ads. Or like if they were broadcasting a terrestrial show during commercial breaks, they couldn't play certain ads. They would have to play different ads that had been paid for digitally, but not broadcast.
Right. There were different rates for on air as opposed to the stream. There were different rights for what you could broadcast on air as opposed to over the stream.
Yeah, there were, and it's the same with the NBC. So sometimes the NBC, in between things, when it's, if you're watching, let's say, the live stream of CNBC's coverage, when they throw to a commercial, it just says, "We'll be back in a minute." And it just has this graphic loop for 3 minutes during a terrestrial commercial break while they're not playing digital ads. But they make no effort or attempts to synchronize the digital ads. So the digital ads instead will just play haphazardly in the middle of events. It's a nightmare. And there's at least 30 streams going at once. I understand that technically it is a Herculean task to have that many crews live. Like there literally would be 30 streams live at a time that you can look at. So it's monumental, but they're not crushing it exactly. So
now you can't go to NBC.com and watch it?
I'm watching it on the app on my Samsung TV. So, because I don't, I could probably go to the website, but so far as I've looked at on the NBC site, the streams are similarly named. There's not a significant difference in the streams that you pull up. But it's watchable. Like, once you get used to it, you're able to navigate it. It's just not a intuitive or easy or convenient experience. That's fine. So I'm dragging my way through that. And I have this weird thing where I really only want to watch events that are happening live right now. Like, I don't like the pre-recorded stuff. So it'll say, like, catch up on women's gymnastics. It's like, no, I missed it.
Hold on. I just went on to NBC.com and it came right up live. Swimming is what's happening. It's the primetime coverage. So I'm watching on the computer. I can watch on the computer what you could watch on your television. But you want to do the app.
Well, yeah, because I want to pick and choose the sports I'm watching. Because I wouldn't be watching swimming right now. Swimming is fine. I don't mind swimming, but it's like not the event that I want to tune into.
All right, well, hang on. Let me walk you through this, because now I'm running down their lists. And let me see. Let me click on CNBC. It says they have the Tokyo Olympics. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is hosting a watch party. I should probably I'm going to kill the audio so we don't get in trouble. But yeah, so CNBC has something different going on the Tokyo Olympics. Let me see what else. Hold on, I'll try one more and see what else we got there for you. It might work. But yeah, I'm not seeing a list of the I'm not seeing a list of the what do you call them? Events.
The events. The website's a little better. The website, you can actually scroll to the bottom, and somewhere there will be a list of the events alphabetically, and then their schedule. So the website is better, but the TV experience is just a little lacking.
Yeah.
But it's
because USA also has the Olympics. They're in a commercial right now.
I watched some USA last night. It's good. So
what do you like? What do you, besides tennis, where the Greek women are on fire, which seems counterintuitive. You think that's going to take their mind off playing tennis, but if they're on fire. Oh, hold on one second. Gidget is trying to get in the office to escape Walter. So I'm going to let Gidget in. You can continue with your Olympic talk for 1 second.
Well,
I'm not even going to turn off my camera.
All right. One of my earliest Olympic memories was watching Carrie Strug and the women's gymnastics team win the gold in '92. I remember that. I was alive. Hey, that was amazing. Like, I'll remember that forever. Many other great Olympic moments of the last several years. So, yeah, I like the Olympics. Now, typically, gymnastics, men's and women's gymnastics. I mean, come on. Like, you got to watch that.
I don't know why I'm not watching this year. I just, maybe it's because there's no crowds. Maybe it's because I didn't really feel that they should have happened. I don't know what it is, because normally I won't watch top to bottom coverage, but I will watch occasionally, and I haven't watched any.
Gotta watch
so,
some.
But and it's not that I don't admire the athletes, because I can only imagine the dedication that it takes. So now, all right. So you brought up gymnastics. What's your take on Simone Biles bowing out of the team competition yesterday or today, whatever day it was?
It was very sad. She worked hard and she can't do it. That sucks. And I had that. Do I what?
No, I was wondering if, well, it wouldn't surprise you that people were being jerks on.
Some people suck, and a
lot of people suck, and it's like, well, why she tries? She can't handle it. Shut up.
Yeah, no, that's awful. Those are awful humans. I saw the inaugural women's street skateboarding event, first time ever at the Olympics.
How was that?
It was phenomenal. The top 5 people were, there's one girl from the Netherlands. I think she was 18 or maybe early 20s. 2 women from Japan, 13 and 16 years old, and a competitor from Brazil, the top ranked in the world, 13 years old, and an American woman, 34 years old, has a master's degree in architecture from MIT.
I saw a story on her where she doesn't consider herself an athlete. She just, I just like to skateboard.
Well, she came in 5th and she almost medaled. I mean, she was a trick away, it was close, but gold and silver went to 13-year-old girls in this event. Bronze went to the 16-year-old. 4th was the girl from the Netherlands. And then 5th was the American 34-year-old who, I turned to my wife and I was like, how do you think she feels about 13-year-old? She's like, dude, if I could rank just behind a couple people, like a third my age, I'd feel pretty badass.
So what is this, like the snowboard competition in the winter? Are they doing jumps? What do they do for the street? What was I going to say? The street skateboarding competition. What do they have to do?
It was almost exclusively kickflip. It was rail rides.
Okay.
So there'd be like a 12-staircase with a rail, and they would jump up on it and then kind of ride it down and then land. Sometimes they'd do like a spin before they got to it. Sometimes they would balance the middle of the board. Other times it was the edge of the board. They made it look so easy, but then they did a segment. It's not a segment, but there was a part of the contest called Top Tricks, where it was just all they would do is go up to the thing, write it down once, and that was it. It was just their hardest trick. Every girl wiped out except one. Every single one. So it must be hard. Clearly, but it was really cool, and it was cool to see, this little 13-year-old Japanese girl, first ever gold medal in this event.
That's
ever.
Amazing.
Pretty cool.
I saw a picture of one of the medalists. I don't know who it was, and she was standing on top of something with her skateboard, and Tony Hawk was taking her picture. Tony Hawk was fanboying out over this young skateboard champion at the Olympics after all the years of him not being, considered an athlete for the Olympics.
Was she wearing green?
I don't remember.
Okay. Because I think it was the Brazilian girl, because they talked about Tony Hawk having basically seeing some viral video of this skateboarder. And then he kind of took her under his wing, and like you said, actually is like a total super cool relationship, and is like mentoring this girl and all this stuff. And it's just
well, then it probably was then.
It's really cool.
I don't think he's working all the skateboard girls.
I don't think so either, but
I've heard a lot of people talking about the handball. Have you watched handball? Beach handball?
It's just basketball, but you don't dribble.
Oh, is that what it is?
Kinda.
All right. I thought handball you played like on a cement playground and hit it off a wall, like racquetball, but with your hand.
No.
All right. Shows what I know.
I gotta say, Tony Hawk's Twitter feed is him posting stories about people that don't recognize him. Just ordered food at Burger King. The waiter the cashier said, "Wow, you look like Tony Hawk." Yep. Like it's really dry and really understated and really funny. Anyway, I digress. So those are some good events. The street skateboarding, all that stuff that you're talking about. The worst sport to watch so far for me has been Taekwondo.
Oh yeah.
I am a brown belt, red stripe in Taekwondo. No big deal.
Wow, NBD, look at you. And yet I've never seen you want to fight anybody.
You'd think. And yeah, well, are you kidding? I got fighting words on this show all the time. But
but we're virtual.
It's so dumb. I know it's hard. I know it's hard and there's athleticism, but it's bad. It's so bad. One of the most surprisingly entertaining to watch is archery. Because of the people watching. The French archery team, unbelievable. The captain of the team is bigger than you. And he's just a big dude with like a beard. He just looks like some random 40-year-old guy, kind of big dude. Great, apparently an archery Olympian. There's a guy in his team or another team that he looked like McLovin from Superbad. Like just super nerd mode. Like we're watching and we're just like, how many Ren fairs do these people go to? The bows are just stupid. They have like 850 attachments.
Yes, there's all kinds of gears and pulleys, and it's like, how do you even lift that thing?
I know. It's like, is this even a sport? If there's that much machinery involved, I don't know. Archery is just it's just a gas to watch. So that most surprisingly good. Karate most surprisingly bad, or Taekwondo rather. The main thing I want to talk about is rugby.
Okay.
Do you know anything about rugby?
I know that in college, the rugby players always were naked at the parties. I used to love wearing rugby shirts. Mm-hmm. I know it's Australian. I enjoy the dances that some of the New Zealand and Australian teams do on the field, where they get all crazed. I know there's a scrum.
Mm-hmm.
I know people get very, very hurt sometimes playing rugby. That's about it. I know you got to throw it, you run, you get tackled, you fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about all I know about rugby.
So I'm flipping through the events. My wife played rugby in college. She's on a college rugby.
Really?
Yeah, she played rugby all 4 years.
Man, your wife's a party.
Dude, she's hardcore.
Yeah.
So I've always known this, but I've never known what I thought rugby was like. Oh, it's kind of like soccer, but you throw it or something, or it's a little different or whatever.
No, it's rough.
Completely wrong. So she's like, let's watch some rugby. So we sit down, we start watching. She goes, it's basically like American football, but they don't stop every 5 seconds. So I started watching. It is basically like American football, but they don't stop every 5 seconds. It is, in fact, in every conceivable way, significantly better than American football.
Really?
And the longer I watch it, the angrier I get that American football is as big as it is. Because it's the same thing, but you don't stop. If a bunch of people pile on each other and the ball is there in the middle, a guy throws it under his legs to get it to another player. The only rule is you can't pass it forward. So you've got to run it forward. And if you need to pass it to a teammate, you pass it backwards or laterally, right?
Okay.
That's it. There's not a lot of rules. I guess there are a lot of rules, but they're like much more minutia. And like, if the players know them, they're not violating them. Occasionally there'll be a stop. If the ball stops too long, the guy will blow, the ref will blow the whistle, and the guys do like a quick huddle up, and then they throw the ball in the middle of it. And then like each team has two sides huddle up with each other. They throw the ball in the middle kind of, and that's how they kind of re-get the ball. But it just goes like that right away. It's just back on. Field goals work the same way, but get this. This is so stupid. So a touchdown in rugby is called a try.
Okay.
Now to score a try, you have to physically touch the ball to the ground. And this results in sometimes if a player's just catching another runner right before the end zone, he can slide under him and prevents him from touching the ball physically to the ground, which will stop the play.
Oh, man.
In American football, you score by what's called a touchdown, which does not require you to touch the ball to the ground. the ball has to be over the end zone, right?
To break the plane, as they like to say.
Yes. So that's funny and ironic that a touchdown doesn't require the touchdown, but the try does require the touchdown, the actual touching down. And then, when they score, wherever the ball touches down in the end zone is where the field goal kicker lines up.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So if you run it in and touch it at the very corner of the end zone, then you have to kick it from the side of the field.
Oh, geez.
It's awesome. It sounds
fun.
It's awesome, and it doesn't stop. And it reminded me of, I think I mentioned this on either this show or on Craig's show a few weeks ago, that we did a study on, there was a scientific study on Curiosity Daily we covered one time, and the average American football game only contains 12 or 13 actual minutes of play. It's like a 6-second play, and then they all stop, and then they meander back to where they're supposed to go, and then they throw to a commercial, and you watch 8 minutes of Geico commercials. Then they come back, and then they throw challenge flags, and then, there's offside, so you can't. Everybody has to stop again, and it's just stopping over and over and over and over and over. And in rugby, they don't have any gear; they're all just really jacked.
Right, the nice shirts. I love a rugby shirt.
Great shirts, great short. They're all jacked. It's just it is so fun to watch. And now I will caveat this with rugby. I guess generally is 15 on 15. We were in the Olympics, and I don't know if this is the only type of rugby they do in the Olympics or if it's sized down for the COVID Olympics or what it is, but they were playing rugby sevens, which is 7 on 7, 15-minute halves. So it's a little bit shorter and it's a little bit more fast paced. My wife told me that in college, it was more like an hour and a half long game. So it's at the length of a soccer game combined with football, but it's rugby. I'm just telling you.
This is the only kind of rugby that will be. Rugby sevens is all that is going to be at the Olympics this year.
Okay. So, and I don't know if that's normal or if that's COVID again or how any of that's going, but I'm just saying rugby is awesome. And it is so much better than it's so much better than American football. And I say that as a guy that I generally like American football, right?
You love the Packers.
I don't like the way it stops every 5 seconds, and there are too many commercials. It's a very commercial sport. It's a very litigious sport. Yes. They have how many challenge flags are they allowed to throw? Come on. It's a very well, guys, you got that rule wrong. You were off by 1 inch. Let's analyze the tape, every 3 seconds to make sure the thing was above the. No, dude, rugby, it's boom, 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 boom. And it's action. It is that ball is moving. Every player is moving. It is not like soccer where you got to wait for a ton of scores. It is a fun sport. It is hardcore. It is really cool. So a lot getting some love in the chat. I sound like the Carlin baseball versus football routine.
Yes. Have you ever heard that one?
No.
And there's also the Andy Griffith, they call it football, which was hilarious. But yeah, the comparison between baseball and football that Carlin does is hilarious. Okay,
I gotta check that out.
Oh, so All Blacks, the All Blacks in New Zealand. That's the team. That's the one that does the dance. That's what I was talking about. They're the famous, they do this stomp crazy dance before they intimidate their opponents. And these guys all look like they'd murder you in the street.
Dude, some of these guys are tanks. There's this guy on the Canadian team, this redhead. He's got to be Irish. His name is literally Kerry Braid or something. It's just very Irish name, and he's super redhead. But this Canadian player is a monster. And I watched 2 matches against Korea, which made you just feel really bad. It was, I think I saw Canada and Korea. There's one other team, and they annihilated them. It was so a touchdown or a try rather is 5 points, and the kick is 2. So a little different than American football. Instead of 6-1, it's 5-2. But Korea got annihilated. It was 45-0 one game, and then 38-0 one game.
Well, New Zealand beat Korea 50-5.
Yeah. I mean, New Zealand and us. So apparently, according to my wife, New Zealand and Australia is where rugby is the biggest, and New Zealand especially, it's their religion of their sport. So really, really big. But anyway, the next time rugby comes to Chicago, I'm going to get some tickets.
We gotta go see it.
If you see it on TV, man, just
all right. I'll go check it out because I'm looking at this now. The USA beat Ireland, 1917. All right, I see. Yeah, close one. But yeah, that sounds good. I wouldn't mind it. Speaking of Australia, I spoke to Australians the other day.
You did. You were on Australian trivia television.
I did that. I did the game early Friday morning in Australia with some people from Delhi as well. Some people from India joining the game. I got to tell, Australia has always been on my bucket list as one of the places I want to go. After doing this game, oh my God, I can't wait. These people were out of their minds hilarious. It was a big investment company, which is strange. There was weird coincidences because I was explaining the rules. And I said, does anybody have any questions? I said, I'm going to apologize. I talk kind of fast. I'm from Chicago and we're always trying to run away. So we talk very fast. Turns out the company is based in Chicago.
Oh.
And the guy who was running the game had worked in the Chicago office for 18 years before he transferred to Sydney. And he was like, oh, we're based in Chicago. Is that why you're doing the game? Because you're in Chicago? And I was like, no, I just happened to be there. Oh my God, these Australians were busting each other's balls the entire game. It was Friday after they were getting off work, so they were drinking. They were hilarious. It was just, and the people from India were jumping in and on equal level with busting each other's chops with the Australians. I was howling. I was having trouble controlling the group because I was laughing so hard. And oh my goodness. So I had heard Australian people were friendly. I have a very small sample size to say that, boy, that's true. It was fun. So I can see, they're all jacked up. They're drinking Fosters and watching kangaroos play rugby. I don't know what's going on down there. You'd be proud of me, Cody. I didn't make any shrimp on the Barbie or Crocodile Dundee jokes.
Nice.
I did not. I avoided the hack. I did not get hacky at all. I kept it very, very universal with the funny.
That's good. They are, my limited experience is that they're very nice. I got a wedding gift from the host of our sister podcast.
Oh, that's right. You have connections with Australia, the land down under.
Yeah. I just found out Rob, the other host of Game Life Balance Australia, is an astrologian.
What is an astrologian?
Well, it's an astrologer. He's an astrologer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
I get us down there.
Okay. Listen, I don't know what happens down there. The toilets run backwards. That's what I learned from The Simpsons. That it runs different. All right, so we have to watch rugby. I'll have to find out when it's on. What's today? Today's, so let's see. I'm looking. Oh, there's sessions all week. Let's see.
Nice.
Oh, well, it's already, what day is it over there? See, that's time zones scare me.
That's always tomorrow.
Oh, it looks like New Zealand and Great Britain are playing right now.
Okay.
And then later, Canada versus Australia and the U.S. versus South Africa.
Nice.
I want to watch. I don't have a favorite. I mean, the U.S. and I'd like to watch Ireland, but then I feel like I should watch a New Zealand game and an Australia game.
Yeah, if you can. We saw New Zealand against Australia, and it was like watching 20 tanks on the field just smash. It was insane. It was insane.
Sally says she's been to Australia twice. The nicest people you'll ever want to meet. Love their beer, love to party, never a dull moment. They don't drink Fosters. In fact, they say bad things about it. Oh. So I don't want to commit a faux pas. Like walk into a pub and go, I'll have a Foster's. And this is a knife. Hold up a big knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife, mate. Now throw a shrimp on me, kangaroo.
There you go.
Throw a shrimp on me, Joey.
Oh boy.
Throw a Joey on the Barbie.
Yeah, we're dying to travel internationally, but I don't know how old I want our kid to be before we do that.
Oh, wouldn't you want him to be, wouldn't you want him at least to be like out of diapers and ambulatory? Well, he's already ambulatory.
I want him to be, I don't need him to be old enough to remember it and have memories and walk, all that. I just need him to be a little less high maintenance.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You get to like 3 or 4, they're kind of, they know, they can tell you when they have to go to the bathroom. They can tell you when if there's, they're not just crying. They can actually tell you if something's up. You can leave them somewhere with a babysitter and they can squeal on them if they do something wrong. I've told you about me getting left at a French daycare center in Montreal, haven't I?
No.
Really?
No.
All right. Well, I'll tell you that story after we figure out the issue. Yeah, I mean, I get that you don't want to wait till you don't want to wait till he's in like third grade so we could do a book report on it. But yeah, right. I agree with you. I think a little more self-sufficient because you want to be able to enjoy it a little bit too, and you do want even if he's like 4. There'll be some memories, he'll see the pictures or whatever, and there'll be some memories there.
Yeah.
As opposed to just, remember when we took you to, Sri Lanka when you were 6 months old? No. Well, why would I go to Sri Lanka when I was 6 months old? That seems silly.
Why were you in a daycare in Quebec?
All right. It was Montreal.
Which is in Quebec, so I was right.
You are? Yeah. Listen, I don't know about Canada. I know they have healthcare. That's what I know. And syrup and Tim Hortons. Huh? I really don't know a lot about a lot of things. I know a little about a lot of things, and then I don't know a lot about a lot of things. Anyway, so Expo 67. So this is 1967. This is Montreal. It's a big world's exposition. And we go. And I do remember some things about it. I remember this one like kind of a roller coastery ride where it looked like we were going down a fuzzy throat. I remember that. I don't know I don't remember the rest of the ride, but I remember this like going over the hill, like in a roller coaster kind of thing, and it just being like orange fuzz. It was like a Muppet or Cuddly Dudley was ingesting us. I don't know what I don't remember the rest. I remember riding a camel, and I remember riding an elephant, and then that's all I remember, except for one day, my mom and dad, I guess, were going to do something. And so they took me to a daycare center. And all I remember is we got like a Mickey Mouse comic book. And I could read a little at that age, enough to know that I was looking at words that I did not understand at all. And I was trying to read it and I couldn't understand the people. And it turns out that everything was in French. Now, I'm a Southside Irish Chicago 4-year-old. I don't parlez-vous the Francais. So I remember it being very stressful because suddenly I felt really stupid. I went in there feeling like I was the ugly American, even if 4. Then all of a sudden I'm shamed because I don't speak French. But I don't remember a lot. I just remember looking at that comic book and realizing I didn't know any of those words. And I did know some words. Like I could read a Mickey Mouse comic book at home. I don't know why I couldn't read it here. Well, because it was French. So don't do that to your son. Don't leave him somewhere where he's going to be made to feel like an idiot American because he doesn't speak another language. Leave him with somebody who parlez-vous his own English.
Yeah, I think we can accommodate.
I'm not giving you a high bar to clear.
Right.
Just let whoever's watching your kid speak his language. That'd be my parenting tip to you.
Yeah. I'm thinking I would. The first place to go is somewhere we've been before.
Oh.
I would think, I'd love to go to Japan, but I'm not going to bring a 5-year-old to Japan, having never been to Japan.
Why not?
It's a little ambitious. I'll just, that. Well,
I mean, if you're once they make it overseas in the plane, it doesn't really matter where you are.
Yeah, that's true. But I've been telling my wife she's got to go to Scotland and Ireland, so might as well just start there.
Well, that we are next September is our Ireland trip. So we are going, and I can't wait. I thought when I finally traveled abroad that would be the first place, and now it's going to be the third place, not counting like Mexico and the DR, but España and then London, and now I got to get to Ireland before they shut everything down again.
Yeah, that I still haven't done. The Mexico, just cross the border, go to one of the all-inclusives or go to the DR. Like I haven't done an all-inclusive, like let's just go to a resort and drink for 3 days kind of a thing.
Those are fun.
I know, and I want to do it before I get, I already get, if I was 22, I could go and I get my money's worth out of that alcohol package,
I'm going to tell you a secret. If you go to an all-inclusive, even if you don't go in thinking you're going to get your money's worth, you're going to get your money's worth. Because you figure you get up and all the breakfast is included. So you're having maybe a mimosa or something with Bloody Mary with breakfast. Then you have a couple beers and maybe some nice mixed drinks in the afternoon, a couple cocktails in the evening. You don't have to binge drink. You just kind of stretch it out. And if you added up what you paid for all those drinks, you'd be like, oh, wow, I dropped a pretty penny on beverages. Right. But yeah, I've been to all-inclusives in Jamaica and the DR, and I enjoyed them both. I've been to regular resort in Mexico. I enjoyed that as well. So, nice. It's you should do it. Just come on. You're making that science money. You got big science money. You just jet off somewhere.
I have some money. That's about it.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Yeah. They're always running. Oh, excuse me. Look into TravelZoo. TravelZoo.com. Book some things through there. They have a lot of great deals.
That's right. Everybody's told me. Yeah, I'm going to Los Angeles in October.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to see my brother-in-law and his newborn.
Nice.
From January. She'll be 9 months old.
Still under a year. That's good.
Yeah. So, and a lot tinier than my baby, who is just walking now.
He's just strolling up and down the block?
Everywhere, basically.
Take a little stroll.
Dude.
So that'll be, oh man, that's a good time to go to LA too. The weather is nice in October. Is he in LA proper?
Yes. I don't remember where.
All right.
I'll have to find out. But yes, that's, there's that in New Orleans in November for my brother's wedding.
Yeah, so. You got a lot of trips coming up.
Got a couple trips. Yeah, it'll be nice. Yeah, it's funny. My wife and I keep looking at each other like, when are we going to travel again? And it's like, well, we are.
This year you're pretty much locked up. You're good to go for the rest of the year. We just added an extra night to our wedding journey in August to go to Colorado because, and I don't know about you, like when it gets within a month of me going on a trip, I'm like a little kid. I can't wait. Like I want to go right now. I want to go on vacation. I want to go to somewhere I haven't been. I want to go to somewhere I have been. I see posts from places in New Orleans. I'm like, I could just drive down there for a day, right? Just drive down to New Orleans, hang out for a couple days, come back. I could do that. That'd be fine. But yeah, we were gonna leave on a Wednesday, early afternoon, and drive part way, and then sleep, and then drive the other part way. And then we were like, all right, well, instead of taking the dogs to the kennel on Wednesday morning, I'll take them on Tuesday evening. And then Molly said, well, why don't we just drive the whole thing and get there? And I was like, oh. And then I started thinking, originally we were going to drive halfway and then sleep and then drive the other half so that we weren't tired because Thursday is like the rehearsal dinner and Friday's the wedding. Well, so now we talked about this. We decided we're going to leave. Like I love to leave for long road trips in the middle of the night. I'm like the great Santini. I love to get up. I leave the house about 2 a.m. because then I've got about 5 hours in before rush hour hits anywhere. So I'll be in Des Moines or past Des Moines. I'll be zeroing in on Council Bluffs before, by the time the sun comes up and the cakes are on the griddle. And I thank God that I'm a country boy. So we called the hotel and we were like, hey, what would it, is there any way we can add a night? And they're like, well, let me see. Oh, yes, very nice. And it turns out, I helped my mom change her reservation so she's at the hotel we're at. And the guy was like, oh, yes, I had to ask you a question about your thing. And Debbie's like, what? He goes, yeah, Mary Noonan, right? No, it's Debbie Noonan. Oh, okay. But anyway, we added a night to the hotel. So we're going to drive the 15 hours straight through. And by we, I mean me. We're going to drive the 15 hours. We're going to get to Estes Park at about, maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon on Wednesday. Have dinner, go to sleep. Wake up, we're there. We don't have to, we're good. We could explore the town and stuff Thursday before the rehearsal. So now I'm even more excited. Now I can't believe it. I want to see an elk wander by my room.
Yeah.
I see pictures from the hotel. There's wildlife just strolling by because we're right on the river. I can't wait.
That's awesome.
I think because as much as I want to travel abroad, and I do, I don't want to, because I think I heard Kathy and Judy say this a long time ago, and I don't know why it made sense. And I don't know why I was listening to Kathy and Judy. They're Hall of Fame broadcasters, but and we were on the same station. That's probably where I heard it. But they said, oh, it's a shame if you become an adult and you've never traveled somewhere, outside of the United States, because it's good. It is good. And you've traveled abroad. It is good to see different cultures and stuff. It's really cool. It's cool to see how other people live and to realize, hey, it's great here, but it's really cool other places too. We're not the only place in the world that's really cool. But then I realized, boy, there's some places in the U.S. that I really haven't gone yet. Not too many not too many places in the U.S. that I want to go that I haven't been. Like I've seen Mount Rushmore, I've seen the Grand Canyon, I've seen both oceans, I've been in the Gulf, I've crossed over into Canada, I've been in tiny blues clubs in Mississippi. Boy, I'm like the Johnny Cash song. I've been everywhere. I haven't been to Maine or the Pacific Northwest. Those are two places that I'd like to go, and Alaska. In the U.S. Where do you want to go in the U.S. that you haven't been?
Utah. I want to go to Arches National Park, pal around there for like a week.
Oh,
dying to go there. It's top on my list. New Orleans on my list, but I'm getting that handled. I'd like to go to the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina.
Ooh, I've been to Asheville for a baseball game, but never to the Biltmore Estate.
Yeah, my parents have gone. My brother has gone. It's apparently really cool. Like really cool, like very ostentatious kind of cool. Trying to think if there's anywhere else. I honestly, I think the next summer trip for us will be Vegas again.
Really?
Because we were talking to some people about Vegas and family members about Vegas last week. And, we haven't been in a couple years. I've been to Vegas like half a dozen times. I've never gone during pool season. Ever.
Really?
I've always been in January for a trade show or like November or something. I was driving through. Pool season's like May through August, I think. And by pool season, I mean, that's when the pools are open in the casinos.
Yes.
And I've never been, and we've been talking about it. And like the thing is like, cause I think the sweet spot for a trip for us is we got two options. We go somewhere with the baby, which somewhat limits us. We're not going to be going to Utah hiking with him, right? Like
one of those baby backpacks.
Oh, we could. I don't envision.
No, it's hard. Traveling with a baby is hard.
I don't envision a grand outdoor trip with a baby. The other thing is if we travel by ourselves, but I'm not going to take her to Japan for 10 days or something without our kid. That doesn't make any sense. So and I like if there's any weekend I can drop them off with my parents for a night or two to, drive to Wisconsin or go to Galena or, head over to Michigan, whatever we want to do like locally. But I think if we're going to take a trip somewhere domestically in the US and we've got a couple days, maybe like 3 days, and we can just relax and enjoy ourselves and kick back. And, maybe my parents can watch them if they want to. I think Vegas is the ticket. That's the place.
Okay.
I know where else we would go.
It's a fun adult getaway. No two ways about it.
And every second there goes a long way. It just feels like you're there. Like we were there for 2.5-3 days last time, and it felt like we were there for a week.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm always ready to leave Vegas after 3 days.
Yes,
always ready.
Exactly.
Even when I worked there and I was working there for a week, I was always ready to leave after 3 days.
Yeah. But even, to your point, if we went to like Maine and we got, went to some cabin up there and we're out up there, whatever, like a couple days is just going to feel like it's going to fly by, Right. I think Vegas is
because Vegas is set up for jaunts, it's set up for a quick getaway. Nobody's going to Vegas for 2 weeks, but if you're right, if you go to a cabin, you want to be there for at least a week. If you go to the beach, you want to be there for a week. That's why I was like, oh, we're only going to Colorado for like 3 days. So now getting this extra day is fantastic. So yeah, I get it. I'm trying to think where if we vacationed with no, I don't think we did. Because we had to take Molly. My brother got married in Philly on her first birthday, and we had to fly. And it's flying with a baby and taking all that gear, and it's like, oh boy, and I like babies, but forget about it.
Yeah.
The next time we went out there, we drove, and we again left in the middle of the night. She slept most of the way out there. It was perfect.
Nice.
So yeah, right now for a baby, I think road tripping is better. Because you can leave at a certain time, they'll fall asleep. You can pull over if you want to. But for a couple, yeah, Vegas, baby. Well, you'll be flying him. Is the baby coming to New Orleans?
Yeah, we're flying him.
Nice.
We'll go on our lap. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's get him a highball on the plane. Or something. Just rub his gums with some boozy booze. Oh, he's teething, is he? No, he's an alcoholic. Clunk. He'll fall right asleep. Boom. And plus, nobody's going to card him. He's like 8 feet tall. Kid looks like he's 21 already.
He is, man. We've seen him now at a couple of playgrounds nearby with little kids, and they're like a head shorter than he is. And they're like a year and a half old. He's not even a year.
I hope he's not, and I don't want to jinx him. There was a kid who with me was the tallest in all the way up to 8th grade. Or all the way up through like 7th grade. He was the tallest. It was like him, me, and one other kid. We were all jockeying. And then all of a sudden, he stopped growing. So he was tall for a 7th grader. Then he was not tall. He was not tall after that. He was just average. It wasn't like he stopped growing at 2 feet tall. It wasn't Thumbelina. But he started out strong. He was strong out of the gate. But he didn't have the endurance to keep going.
Given the genes that this kid's got, I think he'll be.
Between your height genes and your lovely wife being a lumberjack and a rugby player, and because I got to be honest, you look at her, you don't go, man, she's gonna whoop somebody's ass, but sounds like she can. Yeah,
for 4 years. I know, right? I know.
Insane.
After watching some rugby in the Olympics, I was like, I am so much even more attracted to you now. That's so cool.
I was going to say, did you run out to Dick's and get a rugby shirt and some shorts for her? Go, you want a scrum?
Oh, man, I got to get her an outfit. Oh, yes. Yeah, sounds great.
Rugby outfit.
We'll be rugby for Halloween. Except
rugby time. And then you could always, every time you go, oh, we're going to teach our son to play rugby, but it's all for your weird needs. It's all for your cosplay, sexual perversions. You got to put on the suit. I don't want to put on the suit. We're just playing in the backyard. Got to put on the suit.
Oh my God. He does like chasing a little bouncy ball I've got, but that's a different ball. Rugby ball is like a football. It's shaped like a football, but it looks a little smaller.
And it doesn't it have it's a little smaller. I think it's got more panels. Football's 4 panels. I think there's more panels on the rugby ball.
There might be, yeah.
And it's not quite as pointy and a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I guess I knew a little bit more about rugby than I thought.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, boy. The last real vacation outside of Illinois that I had was about 20 years ago. That from Carol. On Facebook, we've got people on Facebook and YouTube. Or Carol was on YouTube. So There you go. Well, listen, I know we're gonna start wrapping things up because you are tired. Have you been having trouble sleeping?
A little. Well, I stayed up too late watching tennis last night, but yeah.
Blame the Greek women.
No, here's the thing. Every morning he wakes up between 7 and 8, and then I change him, give him a bottle, and then he goes back to sleep. And then I should go back to sleep. I would like to go back to sleep for an hour, let's say, and then roll out of bed and start working. And I cannot fall back asleep.
Oh,
so if he gets up at 6:30 or 7, I'm just up and I lay there and I'm like, why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? And then the nanny shows up at 9, and the next thing I know, I'm suddenly out. And I get up and I'm just functioning all day off not a lot of sleep, or I pass out again. And the next thing I know, it's 11, and I'm getting out with my coworkers oh, sorry, I was not around the last couple hours. Guess I'm working till 7 tonight, which happens. So
yeah.
It's he's not ready to wake up at that time. Once I feed him, he's falling over. It's okay, get back to sleep, bud. And he goes back to sleep. I can't do it.
Sure.
I wore my Fitbit last night, and it has a sleep tracker, which, pretty accurate. Yeah. The model is actually pretty good about accuracy. And I usually get like 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night, which is not enough, but still. But it says that last night I got that much sleep, but I was only in REM sleep for like 1 hour.
Ooh.
So all the rest was light sleep, which I don't know what the heck. So yeah, I'm probably going to crash pretty hard after this. But next week, I'll be ready for more Olympic coverage.
Okay. I'll watch some. I'll try to catch some Olympics for next week. We're also next week going to have, we're coming back to a little more beer coverage. Danielle D'Alessandro from the Illinois Craft Beer Association is going to join us. Live beer events are back. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. So we'll have Danielle, we'll have Olympic coverage. We'll have a recap because we are all going to see each other on Saturday. Craig included, and Roger, I think, will be there. So speaking of Roger, his book is now available in audio. The Unplanned Life, the audiobook is now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. So if you want to, if you don't like to read because reading is for nerds, and you like listening because listening is for people with ears, then get the Audible book, the audio book, and hear Roger. It'll be like spending 4 or 5 hours with Roger uninterrupted. I'll let you be the judge of if that's a good thing or not. Either way, read the book or listen to the book. It's worth doing. So, a lot coming up next week. Let's give people an advance notice. The week of August 10th, there will not be a broadcast. We are taking a summer vacation that week. Cody has things to do. I have things to do. You have things to do. Marta wants a mini Facebook Live when we're together. We'll have to talk about that and get clearance from all parties involved. But there will be some photos, etc. I'm sure there will be something.
I will be too drunk to do that.
I probably will be too. So, we'll just post some pictures. Mm-hmm. I don't, there's a lot of legalities we don't want to get into. I did make all the beer run for everything.
I saw the picture. I'm excited.
Yeah, you saw half a picture. You didn't see me Sunday when I stopped for the not crazy beers. So the back of my car had 30 cases of beer in it. Yeah. So plus then I had to go that 30 cases of beer, then 2 cases of Summerly, and I know who I got the Summerly for. My mom wanted 1 case at the party. She goes, I'm not going to drink a case of beer, but we'll have some for other people. And then you better get me one for my house before, because I know the end of August they stopped making it. So you might as well grab me one for the house too. So I did get smart, and then we'll go. I got smart, and I ordered the domestic beer from Sam's, and 1 for price, and 2 because I drove up. They brought it out to my car. I didn't have to go in. I didn't have to do anything. And then we went over to Pollyanna in Lamont. And, while I'm there, it'd be rude not to sit down and have a beer. So Debbie and I sat down, and I had my first Oktoberfest beer of the season, Cody.
Already?
Fruhauf at Pollyanna. I am going to give it 2 steins up because it was fantastic. Yes. So it did seem a little early, but Oktoberfest beers usually start coming out end of August, September anyway. And this is a medal-winning beer, so it was delicious.
All right.
So that was that. Sandy, I'm not at liberty to say, but we'll talk about it next week. Mm-hmm. We will do that. Until next time, get some sleep. Tell your wife I want to see some rugby. I would love to have her doing some rugby play-by-play. Maybe Saturday after we all get hammered, we'll start playing rugby.
Oh my God.
And then your wife could give us play-by-play. I want to see you slide underneath Craig as he tries to make a try. That'd be fun. And Roger, Roger in the middle of the scrum, hiking between his legs.
He'll be announcing it. He'll be doing commentary.
Well, I want to be on your wife's team because she's tougher than I knew she was tough. Now she's even tougher.
Yeah.
So, and she knows how to play. Plus, she might, there might be some unresolved conflicts at home. There might be a nice elbow to your nose. It's all part of the game. It's nothing, what are you going to do?
When she was in school, I don't remember if it was her team or the men's team in her school beat West Point.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they were Division 3. It wasn't,
That's all right. Listen.
But still,
Those Army cadets.
Those guys are pretty.
Are they the cadet? I don't know if they're called cadets. I know it's Annapolis is the midshipman. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, Marta, you are very welcome. We thank you all for listening. Thank you for your comments. Don't forget to tell people that the podcast is available on all the fine podcast outlets. You can follow us there. See, Cody, I remember what you said last week. We don't like and subscribe. You follow us. That's what you do. You just follow.
Free.
Any parting words from Cody the Gough?
That was it. I'm just doing the same old these days. So check out Curiosity Daily. And we'll be back next week for Realities May Vary and talk beer and more Olympics and etc.
So there it is. I forgot to plug Cody on Curiosity Daily podcast. There it is. CuriosityDaily.com. Listen every day. Do that. And we will talk to you next week. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.